I want to tell you a story today. A story about two sales reps. One sales rep has a potential client list a mile long, and they get through that list, they make their calls, and they feel, didn't really make any progress, didn't get very many calls back, but I'm going to try again. And for whatever reason, it takes them a week or 2 weeks in between calls. I don't know why the default is always 2 weeks. If someone can help me understand that, please give me some insight. But anyway, they go through the list again, and they decide, well, I guess these just aren't the right people for me, because I've called twice. And, I even gave them some space in between so they knew that I wasn't going to pester them. I don't want to be a pest, so I'm going to move on. Let me try to find someone else who might pick up on the first or second call and maybe buy something from me. And you know what? They're going to run into a few sales here and there because, hey, if you give 1,000 monkeys 1,000 typewriters, you're eventually going to end up with the collective works of Shakespeare, right? So they make a few sales. They feel somewhat successful, maybe, but largely unfulfilled. Now I want to talk about the other sales rep. She's got a very defined, very workable, very manageable prospect list. And she knows, because the data's out there, that you need to call more than twice in order to get someone's attention. That people like you, definitely people like me, are going to test the salespeople who prospect to them. They're going to wait those salespeople out because if you're really good, if you're really professional, if you take your position seriously, you're going to call 4, 8, 15, 20 times. 20 times sometimes in order to make sure that you get through to your prospect and you know that your prospect knows that you believe in what you sell. And because they know that they may need to call 20 times and they know that they can't just make things up on the spot 20 different times, they do a little bit of homework and they write down what that prospecting cadence is going to look like. And they come up with the messaging and the questions that they want to ask, and they come up with ways to create a little bit of tension in the process, and so that they can demonstrate throughout that cadence, throughout that process, that they are someone worth talking to with something worth talking about. And what happens? Sometimes on the 8th call, sometimes on the 12th call, sometimes on the 2nd call, sometimes on the 22nd call, they get through to their prospect and they have meaningful discussions. That sales rep, not really working a whole lot harder, maybe doing a little bit more work up front than the first sales rep I mentioned, but that sales rep knows that they gave it their all, knows that they're doing really high quality professional work, and feels fulfilled by the work that they're doing. And not just by the work that they're doing, but by the results that they're getting and the results that they are providing for their clients. Think about those two situations and think about the level of frustration it takes when you're really just going after the low-hanging fruit, when you have the superstition, when you participate in the superstition that if you just get the right person at the right time with the right words, then you can make a sale. And then think about what it really takes to be a professional seller. Look, I know that you may be watching this believing that you can just treat your prospecting as an improvisational exercise every time you pick up the phone or your keyboard to type. But the fact of the matter is, if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to set yourself up for success on the front side, if you're willing to create a menu of options for yourself, rather than trying to think things out of the blue or come up with things out of the blue, you're way more likely to be successful. That prep work, that the hard work that you're doing up front makes the rest of the selling part easier. Jeffrey Gitomer taught me that. He probably taught you that too. But you're still not doing it. I want you to think about the way that you spend your time, the way you spend your energy, the way you use your brain. And I want you to think about how you can make your whole prospecting process so much easier by doing some work off the phone first, by setting your own expectations, by having a better perspective about what it's actually going to take to get through to somebody. Maybe by recognizing that the people that are harder to get a hold of are probably more worth getting a hold of. Are you doing what you need in order to get the results that you're looking for? I'll leave that up to you to decide.